to another OBX Wave Report. Today is December 8th, and we are streaming to you live to provide you with all the latest information on OBX wave conditions for today and to discuss the related weather drivers for the waves impacting the Outer Banks for this morning. Also, please tune in to my YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is at Fantasy Scribbler, and YouTube is Robert Scribbler for all sorts of fun wave observations, how-to videos, and beach lifestyle segments as we cover all things waves, weather, climate, and beach lifestyle. So thanks for joining us again, and we are tracking a strong mid-ocean storm system, the classic um, large low-pressure system that is pushing out massive waves across the Atlantic Ocean. And this system is expected to continue to intensify. And here is a satellite picture of the storm system from yesterday. This swirl of cloud here off the east coast, also off Bermuda. It's very large if you look at it in comparison with the US East Coast. Large and powerful storm. And according to the weather models, it's expected to continue to intensify. Although one note is that the likelihood of it taking on tropical characteristics is a lot lower than it was yesterday. So it appears that we have passed the window for the system to develop tropical characteristics as it heads off into cooler waters of the North Atlantic and becomes influenced by other factors that will contribute to its intensity, but more likely develop a cold core kind of system rather than a tropical based system. So if this had taken on tropical characteristics or developed into a tropical storm, it would have been some interesting weather news for December when these systems are very rare. But with ocean temperatures warming due to climate change driven by fossil fuel burning, the likelihood of tropical systems occurring outside of traditional hurricane season has been increasing a bit. So here we are now with this system. It is not taking on any tropical characteristics, but it is still expected to be a major wave maker. And I'll get into that more as we get into the wave report. But for now, what I'm going to do is provide you guys with 3 select locations on the Outer Banks to give you a general view of wave conditions. As for waves across the Outer Banks, it's worth noting that today the waves have hit a little bit of a lull. They've come down a little bit in height, and this was predicted in the wave models, but there's still some very rideable, very beautiful waves out there. Most waves in the Outer Banks are in the range of 2 to 3 foot to 2 to 4 feet. And these are on the northeast facing beaches. On the south facing beaches, the wave conditions are a little bit smaller. But now with the south facing beaches, you're starting to get some wraparound swell. So the general tendency now is for like a more uniform overall swell across the Outer Banks. The winds are picking up again out of the northeast, so we're getting more in the way of wind-driven chop out there, and ocean water temperatures are ranging from the upper 50s in the northern shores to the mid to upper 60s in the southern shores, water temperature increasing as you continue south. The 3 selected locations I've chosen for today are Jeanettes Pier, Rodanthe, and Frisco. Gives you a good range of locations for conditions. And for Jeanettes Pier, which I'll go ahead and zoom in on, I think I might do some individual segments about the conditions at surf locations as I learn more about them. As a surfer and someone who's surfed the Outer Banks, I I generally have a pretty good knowledge of surf conditions, but now that I live here, I'm going to get the opportunity to experience them more. And Jeanette's Pier in particular, I did go out for a surf session yesterday, and it's just very, some very interesting dynamics. There was like a rip tide to the south of the pier, which provided a little bit of access to areas beyond the breakers, and the sandbar is relatively shallow offshore, at least it was when I was there, which produced some real pounders, some real hollow barrels, although in general across the Outer Banks you're getting waves that tend to throw out a bit more and create more hollow waves all up and down the strand. But just getting a sense of it, I'm getting the feeling that Jeanette's Pier is is kind of like a mini, pipeline, or at least it was yesterday. There were a lot of barrels yesterday. So I think as I get trained up a bit more on the locations, I'm going to provide you guys with maybe some specific focus segments on each location, talk about the surf conditions there to give you guys a better feel for what it's like to surf in these locations. But overall for today, for Jeanette's Pier, the wave height is 2 to 4 feet. The wave period is 10 seconds for the primary swell and 10 seconds for the secondary swell, these being spaced out, although they would, wave periods do sometimes tend to converge. Um, the wind speed is out of the northeast at 20 miles per hour, so a lot stronger wind than yesterday, not as calm conditions. And I haven't yet been down there, but given the stronger winds, I would think that the glassy waves of yesterday are no more, and given those strong northeast winds. And of course, this is an onshore flow. The air temperature is 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ocean water temperature is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The weather is breezy today with a predicted high of 61 degrees Fahrenheit. A note on the weather, I've noticed that in some cases, the official weather forecast that I've been getting for the Outer Banks has undershot temperatures, um, during the day, and this might be due in part to the influence of the Gulf Stream, which is just offshore. And if you get the right conditions, you get that warm air influxing unexpectedly. Yesterday, the predicted high for Jeanette's Pier was, I believe, around 62, and I was getting individual readings from my vehicle's thermometer, which is of course not as accurate as a like official weather thermometer, but it's still going to be within the range of a few degrees of accuracy. And I was getting 74, 75, 76 degree readings out of my vehicle thermometer. So just something to note here about conditions in the Outer Banks. Now, moving on south to Rodanthe, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so I can cover ground faster. Of course, we are using a static satellite image to give you an idea of the geophysical features of these locations along the coast. So at Rodanthe, we have wave heights also in the range of 2 to 4 feet, consistent with most of the northeast facing shores are experiencing waves in this range. The wave period is 9 seconds for the primary swell at Rodanthe and 10 seconds for the secondary swell. Winds are out of the northeast at 23 miles per hour. And this is another strong onshore flow, and this is on the shoreline. These conditions are prevailing. Even just looking outside my window right now, I can see the wind kind of blowing through the trees, although I'm in a more sheltered area out here in Manteo, or Manio is the way the locals say it. I gotta get that right because I'm a local now. So yeah, northeast winds at 23 miles per hour, also onshore, giving this east-facing beach. The air temperature at Rodanthe is a bit warmer at 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ocean water temperature is also a few degrees warmer as well at 63 degrees Fahrenheit. So, of course, as you go further south, you're going to get more influence from the Gulf Stream, and those ocean water temperatures will be warm or warmer. The weather conditions at Rodanthe are breezy, again with those stronger north-northeast winds. And the expected high today for Rodanthe is 63 degrees. According to, see, here we go. So we're getting an air temperature on the beach from one thermometer here at Rodanthe Pier at 64 degrees. That's above the expected overall high temperature for the day from the official National Weather Service forecast. Um, so again, we're getting temperatures that are exceeding observed temperatures that are exceeding the forecast temperatures. So I guess more likely Rodanthe would experience with that warmer air influx, possibly, even a couple of degrees more of temperature for a high for today. And so moving down to Frisco, and I'm just going to zoom out so we can cover more ground. We're going to pass Salvo, which is a good spot, the Avon Fishing Pier, and we're going to make that right-hand turn on Route 12 as we head on down to Frisco here for our third wave location for today. And just going to zoom in, give you guys a nice satellite shot. There's a little pier that's been pretty chewed up by various storms. And yep, so conditions at Frisco are, seas are a little bit calmer with wave heights at the shore of 2 to 3 feet. And the wave periods, 10 seconds for the primary swell and 4 seconds for the secondary swell. Winds are also out of the north-northeast here at 23 miles per hour, very strong winds. This is a strong offshore flow, and that might be causing the waves here to hollow out a bit more. So might be some interesting surf conditions here at Frisco. The air temperature is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. The ocean water temperature is 68, so much warmer ocean water temperatures here at Frisco. And the weather is breezy with a predicted high of 66 degrees Fahrenheit. So these are our three locations for the Outer Banks for you guys for today. Overall, waves across the Outer Banks are in the range of 2 to 4 feet or 2 to 3 feet for the most part for most selected locations. Now, moving on to talk a little bit more about our storm system. We did note before that this particular storm did not develop tropical characteristics. And right now, according to the GFS models, the low pressure is about 999 millibar storm. So nothing extraordinarily intense yet, but this thing is expected to bomb out over the next day or two in the 950 and 960 millibar range, according to these models. And since we are closer to the forecast for this storm, it's likely that the models are more accurate as we get closer. I have noted that there's been a slight decrease in projected peak intensity in this model, in the GFS model, for this system, but it's nothing major. It's still expected to be a very powerful mid-ocean storm, and I'm going to go ahead and run the model here for you over here at Tropical Tidbits. So here we go. Oh, sorry. Nope, nope, nope. I did not want a sounding. Oh, yeah, see, the model just changed again. So it's actually in the 947 millibar range. So I'm going to go ahead and run this again because I accidentally messed up on that. So the low is expected to rapidly intensify, dropping down to peak intensity in this model run of 947 millibars, which is back in the projected range that I saw yesterday. So no real change in projected intensity over the coming day for this powerful weather system, which is expected to push out some major waves across the North Atlantic. Um, I'm going to go ahead and now look at an oceanic wave model to show you the present modeled wave heights, which we'll change this to feet because most of our audiences here are American. Um, but you guys can convert to meters if you like. I will not be offended. Meters are more rational measure in my opinion anyway. But present wave heights, present significant wave heights in this storm are in the range of about 25 feet, and you get some sets that can be up to double that. So significant wave heights at 25 feet mean that occasionally you might see something upwards of a 50-foot wave in given the proper conditions. And I'm going to go ahead and run this model to show you what's expected as the storm intensifies. So we get some significant wave heights in the range of about 32 feet here over the next day as the storm is expected to intensify. And then boom, the storm really bombs out, and you can just see that uh, very large swath of huge waves. So let's see if we can get a good significant wave heights running in the range of 42 feet projected for this storm system, and possibly even double that for your peaks under the right conditions. So that's just brutal. And again, as we noted yesterday, just look at all the waves, for lack of a better term, running out in the wake of this monster here. So rather far from it, probably some gale force winds off the U.S. East Coast, driving some 20-foot significant wave heights with peaks in the range of about 40 feet. And then as you get just offshore of the Outer Banks, you've got significant wave heights in the range of about 6.7 feet, um, along with just waves across the North Atlantic in the range of, let's see, at beaches or just off the beaches in the range of 6 to 7 feet across the east coast of the U.S. and the Bahama Island chains and into the Caribbean. And let's just go ahead and nudge this model a little bit. I'm curious what happens to the waves here across the East Coast. Let's just bring it back. So just here off the Outer Banks. So yeah, so in the range of about 6 to 7 foot significant wave heights for December 10th, just off the Outer Banks. So how does that translate into the onshore wave prediction models? Let's just go ahead and look at Jeanettes Pier for the next week. So today we've got predicted waves in the range of 2 to 3 feet. We're actually experiencing, I believe, well, we're experiencing 2 to 4, yeah, 2 to 4 foot wave conditions right about now. And they're expected to drop off a little bit and then start to increase toward evening. And then as we get into tomorrow, waves are really expected to pick up over at Jeanettes Pier with 5 to 8 foot waves in the morning time. And then for tomorrow, we've got some averaged 5 to 7 foot waves over the course of the day for Saturday. And then running into Sunday, we've got some 5 to 8 foot waves predicted in the onshore wave models. And then for Monday, we get a big bump up with like a maximum peak of 6 to 9 feet. And then if you want to go surf at midnight on Tuesday, you get some predicted 6 to 10 foot waves. I'm not sure if I would recommend that. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek. And then all through Tuesday, 6 to 9 foot waves predicted in the models. Of course, these are still forecasts, so and the wave models are not as accurate as weather prediction models, but they are getting better. So it's just worth noting that there's some big wave days, some very big wave days for the East Coast predicted over the next week for the east and northeast facing beaches of the Outer Banks. And of course, I'm going to continue to cover this for you guys so you have daily updates on these predictions. So I just want to give a shout out to the platforms that are aggregating the information here. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Tropical Tidbits. Go ahead and check it out. It's a fantastic site for um, gaining information about particularly ocean storms and tropical storms, hurricanes. It also is a great platform to access a good graphical representation of the GFS model. So go ahead and check out Tropical Tidbits. And this onshore wave model is provided by magicseaweed.com, which is a fantastic resource for all things surf. Of course, the wave model is uh, something that is universally accessible, but they do provide a wonderful tool for visual representation of the predicted wave heights based on model forecasts. And then last of all, Earth Null School, which provides a ensemble of various weather and climate models that provide these wonderful graphical features that we are using today. So thank you for joining us. We're going to have some other videos today in addition to our wave reports. Hopefully we'll get some observations from the shore itself. Well, we have had a few gorgeous days of observations. So I invite you to check me out over on Robert Scribbler at YouTube, and for the onshore observations, which have been very fun to provide. And also check us out for some how-to videos on just all sorts of things involving beach lifestyle, surfing, and environmental and climate observation. I think maybe later today I'm going to do a little how-to on repairing a drone or replacing drone propeller blades. I have been working on my Holy Stone 100 drone to try and get it up and running for you guys, and this has been an adventure in and of itself. This is partly on me because it's a little bit of an older drone, so I'm trying to, get it up to speed, which is a little bit challenging. And I had to, order some parts and, a charger. But hopefully we will get this drone up and running for you guys, so we can get you guys some wonderful shots of the surf, of surfing, and of the beautiful environment, the beautiful coastal environment here in the Outer Banks. So thank you for joining me, and please remember to try to do everything you can to help fight the climate crisis and, by extension, save our beautiful shores for all of us to enjoy, both physically on the coast or vicariously through our coastal reporters. So thank you once again, and I'll be chatting with you